Going off for a second trip. Oh shit.
Hi, we're Ian and Julie. Follow us on our tiny homestead and our debt-free project of a lifetime, the building of a home here in the Pyrenees, and all of this alongside our full-time jobs. Just defrosted all their water. Let's give them some hot. There you go, girls. Let's fill you up with some hot water.
Right, nice and warm, really toasty in this tech room. This morning it was about -5 outside, so I decided to turn on the heater remotely from the house, and that's been on all day. So it's about 2:30 now, and it's about 21 degrees in here. It only got down to about 5 degrees in here, but I just wanted to make sure that all the batteries and everything were okay. And the battery is still 100%, and this heater has been on all day, so I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, I've got to go back outside into the cold. Good afternoon. I say afternoon because this morning was absolutely freezing cold, so I took advantage and got into the garage and started preparing the final preparation of the car. Julie's at home working on all the road books. We've gone through all the preparation. We've watched a video on every single stage, a real-time video where somebody's driven it, and basically we've taken notes all the way along, which bends, how long they are, what signage to look out for so we can zero our trip. And she's taking all of that information and putting it into the road book, a printed road book that she'll have on her lap, call out these corners and zero the trip to correct ourselves. She's got the computer, the Blunnet computer sat there. She's colouring in nicely. Just make sure she has to colour in between the lines. I'm going to start setting out for our path just here. And you saw in the last video, this is to frame up this garden here. So when the digger guy comes, we'll have somewhere to put the soil and fill that into a level instead of just dumping it everywhere and doing it later. We've had those curbstones here for a long time, and we keep moving them around, but it's now time to get them set in. So I'm going to get the levels. I've got to get rid of all this trash first. So I'm going to get the levels, and then we're going to get some nice dry mix sand and cement and make up little mounds and sit these curbstones on top and try and make some sort of curve into a 2-meter width path here. Enough to get a tractor, my digger or the skid along, but also not too wide to make it road looking. This is supposed to be the garden path garage. We're not going to be driving the vehicle on it. So this is the idea. I've got it just so the curved section of this curbstone is just proud of the wall here, and that means Julie, when she does the rendering, she can render right up to this corner, so this will form part of the wall. I'll then backfill with some more concrete and also backfill with stones and rubble this side, just so this doesn't push over before we get the soil in. But the level is going to come up to about here for the driveway and the path. So we've got quite a bit more to come. And it's always been hard to get into our minds how this is going to look, basically because of all the levels are just dropping constantly. So with this in place now, it just shows you how high we're coming up. And from the original surface level, we're probably nearly 1.5 meters above that. And most of it is gravel and hardcore. Right, I've just got to get my lines because I don't want to go too far or too wide. So this is what I'm trying to get at now. plus it has to be signed off by the boss. And yeah, I'm trying to get as much done as I can while she's doing those road books. Still not 100,000.
While Ian's busy working up on the build plot, I'm here back at home, busy working on all our rally books, ready for the forthcoming Rally Monte Carlo. And that means each day on the rally, we have special stages where our average speed and distance are all controlled, hence my road books. And that's what I'm busy working on. I'm marking up all the points, checkpoints, things en route that we're going to be pressing our computer. We use a Blunix system, and that's what's going to keep us on check to make sure that, one, we're hitting our distance and we're keeping to speed, the average speed, trying to keep up with the average speed. And hopefully I'll get this done today and I can be back on the plot helping Ian.
Right, I think I'm there. I just phoned the boss and we think we're sort of in agreement. So we're going to come 3 of these. I'll try and get the actual level as well. So that is 3 meters, and then we're going to go 2.4, which is basically the size of our manholes, which are 30, plus they're 10 away from the building. So that will make that square as well. So this will be nice and straight, wide enough for the trailer, for the mini digger, for the skid, all the way to this point here. Now at this point here, we're going to go straight across, so a T. So the driveway, well, the path will be here, and then this side is the garden beds. But here, this side of the curbstones will all be grass. So it just makes it clean and tidy, not many curves, not many angles. I think that's the way we're going to be doing it. But as you can see, they've got to be raised up for quite a lot actually. Like I said earlier, we have no, trying to get in your head where the levels are, but you can see now when you run a string, that's a good 1.5 feet. So I think it's time, not now because the sun is just about to go below that hill. I'll get the skid steer. I've got a pile of 2040 over there. I'm just going to make a line of 2040 all the way along this line and get my whacker plate and whacker that into the ground and let that settle for a day or so. And then I will start setting these out on dry sand and cement, a dry mix, and see how that goes. So I'll get home now, see how Julie's doing with her colouring in, and I'll see you in the morning. Good afternoon. It is the next day, and it's now time to get that 2040 gravel onto the sort of foundations where the curbstones are going to go. So Julia's still at home doing the road books. It's a long process. So I'm going to get the skid out and we're going to get that moving. I've already got the whacker plate here and I'll get all that done today. Right, I've just got to move this one, my datum. If I get that one over there. Whoop. Right, it's not all done by machine. Just going to try and flatten this out as best I can. Oh, this is so horrible, this stuff. This stuff is just on the edge. The smaller stuff, the 020, you can rake through. The bigger stuff you can sort of just move around. This is in between. It's so hard, the 2040. Right, I'm going to get my whacker plate out now and try. It's just to compress it. I'm not trying to get it any levels or anything like that, because I'll level the slabs, the curbstones, as they come with the little pads of sand and cement. But yeah, we're going to have to get another lorry load with it. I think we're going to get another 13 ton of the 020 and then level all of this out and compact it as our sort of temporary permanent drive while we're doing the build, before we put that nice final dressing on top. Right, let's get this whacker out. Right, let's check the fuel. That's okay. So I haven't started this for quite some time. So make sure he's on. Right, so it doesn't compress down very well, this stuff, I must say, but it's flattened it out. This is one of the first things we actually bought. It just saves renting one. Ugh. Let's have a look. Yeah. It's going to be flush with this wall. It's going to come across a bit. There. That's all right. That's flush. Don't know whether I'll start today or not. And I'd like to do this with Julie because it's going to take two of us to get it done.
It's another late one, bringing Tyson back from the field. Just been in and checked the chickens, and I can't believe it. We're on a real cold snap here in the Pyrenees, and they've laid me 6 eggs again. I don't know what's going on. Wow, so this is Wednesday now, and every day I've been getting 6 to 8 eggs now for the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks plus I've been definitely getting 6 a day. Last week it was 8 a day. I need more neighbours. Anyone for eggs? Oh, you make that sound so good, Tyson. For his nighttime feeds, he has hot water in with his biscuits and nuts just to soften them, because he's old now. He's lost a few teeth. Oh, he slurps. He's leant on the door and I can't open my latch. He's been scratching his head on the door. Can you do it? Oh, oh. Jeez.
And if you've all missed the tractor, it's in its own little barn here. And Julie has been using it to muck out, as you saw. But on this, if you can see, we're extending again, basically because these swing against the wheels as well. So when this is a big load in here, these arms just aren't long enough. And when we priced up new arms, longer arms, price came in at around 400 euros just for an arm. So I saw these these quick release extenders on another YouTube channel, looked them up, and they were on Amazon, although I bought them directly from the company, and they were about 200 euros, so quite expensive, but they are pretty hefty pieces of kit. And on the cutter, these here are too short, basically, or the arms on the tractor are too short. So when I'm reversing or basically just cutting, these wheels will bang up against the rear wheels of the tractor. So I've tried to extend it previously. These are the original holes here, so this would have been moved forward. But even just that sort of 2 inches there, it was not enough. So that's another reason why we're going to put these quick releases on, just to extend this cutter out from the back of the tractor. I thought I might as well do it in the comfort of the garage. So the idea is to put these new extender units on the end of these permanently, so we can just change equipment. It's not really about the quick release, it's more about the extension, and we're only talking a few inches, but that is going to take a lot of the hassle of the equipment bashing into the tires and taking out big chunks out of the tires. So that's the idea for this sort of modification. There are a few things going on in here at the moment. As you know, we're doing the rally. I'm just doing the final sort of prep. So changing the oil out. Got all the wheels down here. So these are my spare wheels, but they're all season tires. So just in case there's not a huge amount of snow, I can put those on, and then I've got all my spares building up. These will go in the support vehicle. Just got some new leads, new spark plugs. It's just the little bits and bobs that I can concentrate on this year, whereas last year I was leaking oil, it was overheating, and as you know, we had to pull out of the rally a couple of days before leaving. So this year we are fully prepared, and I'm just, any tiny little leak I'm just looking at. So I've got one tiny little ooze of oil coming out of the sump of the gearbox. So I'm going to take that off and put a new gasket in and seal all that up. But other than that, I mean, I could run with it. It doesn't matter. But I may as well get all those little things done. God, it's cold. I'm going to get my heater on, and I'm going to get these units put on. And I'll show you them now as well. These are the quick release units for a Cat 1 tractor, which is basically a micro tractor like mine. And they will just sit, the arm will just go in here, and that will bolt on. And then whatever piece of equipment you've got will just slot into there. But as I said, it's not really about that. That's the pin for where you normally attach your equipment. So I've got a good sort of 100 mil, sort of four inches of extension, and that will take it away from that wheel. And that's the idea. It's an expensive extension, but as I said, the arms were 400 euros. So, and that's ridiculous. Right, I've already installed one just to practice, and basically you've got to loosen off all of these clamping bolts, remove the cotter pin from this bar, and that's the pin that would normally be your implement pin. That would go in and then you put a cotter pin on the end. So take that out for now, and now we slide it over the linkage. Like so. But what you have to do, you have to get this parallel so it's nice and flat, but if you tighten this up, that will tend to go like this at an angle, and that's why you have these small shims here, and inside here you just slot him in. I find it easier if you put it in first. Slot him in. Get your pin, evenly tighten them up, and then you've got some locking nuts underneath, and then a very long thread that seems to take forever. So I'll probably angle grind that off just so there's nothing hanging. But it's basically to keep it all square and parallel. That's what these little side bolts do. Right, so in theory those are now installed. So this is a locking little mechanism here, so you can then put your bar in. This is a good example. That should just slot in like that, and then you can just lock that over. Right, also I've got to do the width of these outside on the machine, but this bar here somehow slots in. I might have to trim it a little bit. So I've just trimmed this bar down. There's some washers that go to protect the other cotter pins, I think, something like that. And then these have also got some pins in, and that just keeps that nice and parallel. Got some little split pins here. They go in there. And now, while it's on nice flat ground, I'm going to try and even this mess up. It's never been right. Let's get him outside and try him on one of the implements then. One thing I did this was to avoid these, or the bars and the implements, catching on the tyres, but it is catching just here, which is a bit of a pain. But the easy solution for that is just to turn my wheels the other way around, like I had on the field, where I had to turn them the other way just to get the stability. So it gives us a good couple of inches either side. The reason I turned them round back again was to fit it into my small trailer. But we're not going backwards and forwards with this all the time. So I may as well just swap the tyres around. It'll give us more stability and also more clearance just there. So seeing as I've got my trolley jack and everything here, I'll do that now. Let's see how this works. I'll just lower him off the jack. I'll tighten my bolts with my torque spanner. There is plenty of clearance now. So this is where these go, like that, and then that allows that to center on the quick release and protect these pins. Lock on. doesn't hit the roll bar anymore either.
So, as we're going away to do Rally Monte Carlo, I really need to get some hay and some bedding in his stable in the field, his outdoor shelter. So the next job now is we're going to put the centre of this ball in the bucket of the tractor, and then I'll come backwards and forwards filling my bucket that's on the back of the tractor with more hay. And this afternoon my friendly farmer in the village, Charles, he's coming with another big ball to keep here to use whilst Tyson's in the stable. It's a bit of a mess, but we'll get it sorted.
This will get him trotting down the field a bit. Ooh, I better slow down. It's icy.
So we've just brought a bag of shavings, just put at the base of his shelter because I'll be coming round with lots of straw for in here. But this will just give a nice bed for the straw to stay on. He's got his water at the side here. Oh, he's got a nice thick oh wow, he didn't come to the field, he's not been in the field the past 2 days. Right, that's a nice thick layer, I'll break that up. Come on, your dad's coming. Come on, let's go. Walk on. Come on, let's go. How is he going to empty it for me? Yeah, it's all icy at the bottom.
No, but that works better than it did before.
Oh yeah, much better. Much better.
Scrape it out now.
Yeah.
All of this will be going into our new raised beds up at the plot.
I do it in level, so I know my freshest stuff comes this end. That's the older pile, and then we could start turning it later. But this section here, if I took the top off, it's just soil. There's no smell, it's just beautiful soil. Well, compost.
I am pretty happy with those. They've worked out really well. They just make it feel much more substantial. It brings the box back out and a lot higher, so even when I tip it, it goes nowhere near. You can see where before it would hit up against the roll bar just there, but now it's all nicely adjusted and it fits perfectly. So you can see it's right in the center. The cutter I've measured to basically it'll fit perfectly again. It was about 1 centimeter wider, so just with that bar adjusted, perfect. So a little project all finished. Julie's just finishing off preparing the field shelter, and yeah, this little things when we leave the place to go away for, especially for a week, we have to prepare everything, and we don't normally away in the winter, so he normally comes home every night to the stable. But this field shelter is just as good as his stable, and he's got water, and as I said, we have 2 girls, our neighbours. They do our chickens, our dogs, and they come and do Tyson and check on him each day. So hopefully my son might pop round as well. What have you got in your mouth? Freya, what have you got? You're disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.